Welcome back, everyone, to Sci-Fi Thursday. All right, in today's video, we're going to be working in this area right over here. And I want to try to get some more wires and hoses hanging down and draped. I just think it adds a lot to the overall look having, like I said, wires and hoses draped down and chains hanging. So we're going to try to put that over here. So as you can see, we've already got some wires and hoses, but I'd like to try to add some more. So I want to build a tower right here. And I want to have wires draped over to this area over here from that tower. Now we have to be careful when we place the tower because we want to think about photography. So we can't put it right here in the middle because shooting from the other direction, it kind of blocks your view. So we're going to want to put it probably right here. Let me show you from the other side. Good. So here we are on the other side. And that area is right there. So we don't want a big tower there because we want to have a good view through there. So we need to put that tower over here. So here are the pieces I have so far. This is a gun from a Joy Toy figure, a gun from a Star Wars figure. I'm not sure what that's from. And we have a base. So I'm thinking our base is going to go right there. Now, this is just sort of an artistic point of view, but when you're gluing this base, you don't want to glue it there in between those two. Glue it right there so that you see a little bit of this panel in the front and it overlaps a little bit of that panel. It just adds interest. Okay, now we're going to take this. We'll have to cut those handles off. But that's going to go right like that. This piece, it may go like that. I may have to cut this handle off right here or cut it in half so that it's a little closer. I'm not sure. That may go there. I'm going to take this and put it at the top. Yeah, just like that. I don't know if we'll use this. This could, with that curve, yeah, if we paint that gray and rust it, that may go there. And then off of that, you can see, like there's 3 little tubes here. We can put wires going over to all of this stuff, or up to the top here. And then again, once we have our tower built, we can have wires draped going over to these parts or even up higher. Okay, I've cut the handles off. Let's see, I think this one went there. This one was up here. And we'll file these flat. And they could even go next to the base. Who knows? This one, we'd have to cut it. And we can. Let's see. Try to make that as straight as possible. Great, another piece that we can put on a wall or on the floor. Okay, back to this. I had to do some cutting and sanding, and you definitely want to sand both pieces of plastic before you glue it. Now, I'm sure most of you know the baking soda trick. If you have super glue on there and then you take a pinch of baking soda and sprinkle it on there, it just locks it tight. I mean, it is just permanent. Okay, so now let's see. I think we want to do this. I trimmed this piece back. That piece that sticks out right there. And then I filed the top of it flat because it had a little tube that stuck out. I guess the end of the gun. And then you'll see I filed that area right there. So we want to test fit it. So it's going to go like that. You got to file this. Make sure you check it from all angles to make sure it's exactly how you want it. Okay, then that gets glued on this base. You don't need a file. You can use sandpaper if you want. Just make sure that you get it down to the bare plastic and that it's kind of roughed up. Now we want to make sure that we get this straight. We don't want it to be like crooked off to the side. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure on it. Okay, there is our tower. Now we need to paint this. Okay, I masked off the middle. I'm going to leave that yellow, and we're going to put gray, a gray primer on this. I haven't decided yet if we're going to do color or maybe continue yellow on these pieces. I just don't know yet, so we're just going to spray it gray, see what it looks like. Okay, I sprayed some yellow over the top, and then I took the masking tape off and did a light misting of that yellow to sort of blend it together. Now I got a little bit of overspray on that red, which isn't a big deal. You could leave it. I'm just taking some odorless thinner. Yeah, you definitely need thinner to get that overspray off. Okay, now we'll take deep ochre, and you can see it kind of matches that color. A little bit. Okay, that's good enough. Oh, and don't forget to paint the areas that you sanded. You don't want any of that white plastic showing. Okay, for the bottom, we're just going to add some rust. I'm using dark chocolate. I grabbed the wrong. That's okay. We'll add a little bit of this. Raw sienna. That's what I wanted to use. A lot of water. Okay, and if you want to, just take your hair dryer. Okay, now we'll take bittersweet chocolate. And we're going to add a little black to that. Sort of clean our brush out. Dip it in the water. Now I know the water is pretty dirty from the paint. We're just brushing over it so that it all blends together. Getting a little bit more black in there. And just going along the bottom of things just to dirty it up. I'm just putting it in the cracks, in any little holes, any little details. So you can do the same up here too. Okay, I just took a sponge with bittersweet chocolate and a drop of black in it to darken it up, and I went over the entire piece. I tried to stick to just the edges and mostly like the lower edges of things. And then I did a wash with raw sienna in that center area and just went on some of the edges, just here and there. So I think it's done. You could definitely add some more color to it, you know, maybe take some red, and there's some buttons down here. I guess we could do that quick. You'll notice I'm using some orange. Just brightens it up a little bit. Okay, I just gave it a highlight with the orange. Now if you have a really small brush, you could put a little drop of white. And it's really going to make it look like it's lit up, like it's glowing. Okay, now we're done. I need to get maybe a small shoelace and cut it so it goes in between. There's a hole at the bottom of this and a hole there. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll put a hose in there. So I just glued it in place. And then I took some pastel chalk and went around the bottom a little bit just to kind of dirty it up. Okay, now I think we'll wait until next week to drape all of our wires. So we took 1, 2, 3, 4 objects and glued them together to make this tower. All right, that's all we have time for today. Before we leave, I just want to mention, if you like sci-fi modeling and like what I'm doing here, check out World Makers Consortium. You will find a very, very large group of people doing exactly what I'm doing here. And I believe they have a show every Friday night on YouTube. All right, well, until next Thursday, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.